again in the mid 1960s, right? They came up with another innovative, variant called as a super test, which included a ruby rotor. It's a it's a semi-automatic watch, okay, which included a ruby rotor. Back then, nobody had thought about this idea to fit a ruby into the rotor. So Racine had this weird, ways that he could come up with suddenly something nobody would have thought in the market. So that is the reason, even today after 160, almost 100 years of their, second phase, right? They're able to withstand all the competition, the quartz wave, they're able to, even flourish even now, So it's in great demand even today. The times, especially the ruby rotor super test watches was so accurate that even Sherpa did not have a variation of a second. This ruby rotor, when it came out, right, that did not have a variation of even a millisecond of miscalculation in time. Such was the technology. So as a brand professor, I think Enicar has been always fascinating, and it will continue to flourish. That's what I can say. And that is, for as long as I pursue my hobby, that is going to be one of my very passionate theme, and it's a very, very dear brand to me. So
I hope we get to see a ruby
absolutely,
collection.
Coincidentally and luckily, I have I have that. Unknowingly, I had acquired this watch very initially in my collection. Later on, when I did some research, I was shocked to see that 1960 ruby rotor with me in my collection. I have that. In fact, to showcase it.
Last couple of quick questions which I have in my mind is first time hobbyist questions, which
Sure.
are you tend to get carried away with understanding what is this 5 jewels and
Yes.
17 jewels, 25 jewels, 21 jewels and all of that. So what is a jewel is all about?
So basically, when you look at a mechanism of mechanical watch, it's got the bearing concept. It's got a balance wheel, and it has got for automatic watches, you have something called as a rotor. Okay, so many of us, even now, I find this concept of jewels very fascinating. For the benefit of everyone here, I would like to say that even I am a student of this hobby currently. Whatever I may be wrong in some of the things that I've spoken today, but we all learn. So there's no end to learning. So when mechanical watches were being made, right? Mechanical watches are generally hand wound. There to be wound on a daily basis to keep the movement functioning. So over a period of time, what used to happen back in the early 1900s was, though the person used to wind it and take care of the watch well, right? After a very short period, right, he would find that either the watch slows down or it used to stop. Able to figure out why this was happening, because it was a simple concept of a bearing. It's like you have a balance wheel and a coil spring. So these are the key parts accompanied by a lever. So these are the connecting parts. So suddenly many of them found that their watches were stopping for unknown reasons. So then some brainy guy came up with this idea, saying that as the watch, that mechanical watch wears, right, there's a little amount of lubrication which at the time of manufacturing of that watch, right, would have been infused in that in the watch. So that guy very quickly figured out that as the lubrication was fading away, right, it didn't have the bearing and the balance wheel did not have lubrication to move. So the friction, what happened was, used to stop. So then they figured out how to circumvent this issue. Then what they did was, back then the jewel concept involved at key precision points in the mechanism, right? They used to place a original jewel like a ruby or an emerald or a sapphire, right? The highly polished version of it, which could fit into that even a smallest of watches, right? They used to place in certain precision points where there was a lot of friction. Okay, basically at the at the top of the bearing, and on the balance wheel, and on the liver. Okay, these were the areas where they tried it out initially. So suddenly they found another way of watches what they manufactured using with these jewels, right? It became a super hit. So people loved the concept, of a jewel in their watch, and I mean, that watch never stopped. Even after 40, 50 years, the watch I'm wearing it's a Seiko, it's a C22 Sealand series. This watch is about 40 years old. It still runs as, though it has a Japanese mechanism, even the Japanese started adopting the jewel technology. That's how it is.
I think to add on to this, the watchmakers found the jewels to be easily replaceable because of the wear and tear, and they offered zero friction.
They offered zero friction.
And that's one of the reasons why
absolutely.
they use these jewels. And when you open the back case, you will find these jewels stuck in three positions.
Yeah.
I think with this, we come to the end of today's session and today's meeting. Thank you so much for watching this. Please do comment and let us know what do you think, what do you feel. And as we keep bringing you more and more of this, I hope it will be very interesting to understand
Absolutely.
the plethora of watches and watchmakers from Swiss which have got a brand name to live and have got a legacy of more than 100 years
Yes.
in this area of competence.
Yes.
And thank you so much.
Absolutely, it's
Kiran,
been
thank you very much
absolutely,
for
Professor. Pleasure is all mine. I think jointly we'll try to take some very interesting steps as we move on in this series, and let's make it as informative and as to the point as possible. Because I again just to so the idea of coming up, I mean Professor coming up with this series is just to put together kind of a ready reckoner kind of material wherein one can just go ahead and pick it up from from one database kind of. Yeah.
Thank
So
you
thank
so
you,
much.
Professor. Thank you very much. Namaste.